The goal of this video is to talk you through registering for Imath, as well as showing you around a little bit out there as well. Now, when you come to your home page here in Canvas, your page may look a little different than the one I have here, or it could look the same. But no matter which class you're in, when you scroll toward the bottom of your home page, you're going to see this button that says Go to Imath. So that's just one of the ways that you can get to Imath. So if you click that button, it's just going to pull up Imath for you. Now, more than likely, you do not already have an Imath account. So you're going to want to click here to register as a new student. When you do this, you will get to choose what you want your username and password to be. I generally recommend using your same username that you would use to log into Canvas or any other NKU site that you have, just to keep it consistent. Again, you're going to choose your password, and then you're going to confirm your password by just typing the same thing twice. Then, of course, I need your first and last name. That way, when I'm moving grades over to Canvas, I know who gets what grade. And then you have an email address there as well. Then the main thing that you need that might not already be here for you is this course ID and enrollment key. Now, each course I teach may have these being different values than the one that you're going to see when I come up here in Canvas. I'm going to pull up the one for one of my courses that I'm currently teaching. This information you can find both on Canvas as well as in your syllabus. So in Canvas, you can find it under your Module 0, and you'll find it in that Homework in Imath page. And you'll see up here whatever your course ID is, as well as your enrollment key. So you'll have those two values that you're going to need to enter here. And then you'll just click Sign Up. Once you have done that, you'll be able to log in with the username and password that you created. I'm just going to pick one of my courses here to look at around for Canvas for you. Now first, yours is going to look a little bit different than mine, simply because I'm the one teaching the class versus you're the one taking the class. So I'm going to click the student view just so you can see what you should see when you come out here to Imath. Now what you're going to see right now is just we only started Module 1. That's the only one that you're going to see here. And you'll see the due date. And as a reminder, you have to achieve at least a 50% on the Imath homework in order to attempt the Canvas quizzes that we give. Now what you're going to get out here once you hit a 50% is you're going to get a password. And so I'll get to show you that here in a moment as well, of seeing me unlock the password that I'm going to need when I go to Canvas. But first, I do want to also show you around what the homework itself looks like. So at the top, you'll find some directions, and some of this stuff might make perfect sense, and others maybe not the first time you read it. And so we're going to talk through about some of this. Now, one of the things I love about Imath compared to some other softwares out there is that I can program things to grade you based upon your mistake that you possibly made above. And I'm going to show you this here in one of our questions. So just to click on each individual question that you want, just make sure you submit the question each time that you're doing that. Now, if you have not started Module 1 material, what you're being asked to do here may not make any sense. But there are going to be two different values that I'm asked for here. I'm asked for a Z, and I'm asked for a probability. What you're going to find as you learn Module 1 is that your probability that you're going to calculate will be based upon your Z-score. And so if I were to calculate my Z-score and that value was incorrect, then I would sort of expect my probability to be incorrect as well. But I'll notice here if I submit my answer, I'm going to see that I got my Z-score wrong, but my probability correct. Now that can be, again, a little strange at first for students, but here's what you should hopefully walk away knowing. I had problems calculating my Z. I did do something incorrect there, but my probability would be the correct answer if this would have been my Z-score. And so you may see things that seem a little strange when you get something correct, but it's based upon the answer that you entered above. Now that's exactly what I will do for you on tests as well, is if you make a mistake early on, as long as you keep doing everything else correct, I'm not going to take off more points. And so Imath is going to give you that same type of feedback. But it's also helpful for you to realize what you do understand versus what you were struggling with. Now you'll also notice that I can get multiple attempts on this question. So I could now, okay, I'm going to retry my z-score. And so maybe I get a different value. But now I can't leave this green one. It's not going to stay green because if I change my z-score, that's going to change my probability. And so I'm going to have to get my new probability based upon my new z-score that I entered. And if I hit submit here, you will again see that I got my z-score wrong again, but I still got my probability right because it's correct based upon my answer above. So that's how Imath grades you. If you ever have a question about that, you could always drop me a message as well. Now, I would want to keep working through this assignment until I get at least a 50%. On Module 1, that would mean I need at least 25 of the 50 points before I'm going to see that password. So I'm going to pause the video here for a moment so I can work it up to get to where I have a 50%. Now, when you are working problems, do make sure you actually answer questions to all of the parts before you hit submit. Otherwise, it does count as one attempt. If I only did like the first two and click submit, that still counts as one of my attempts for all the other questions as well. Now, when I click submit here, I should hopefully get a score that takes me above the 25 out of 50 mark. So now if I go back to my home page, I can see that I got a password for my quiz number 1 in Canvas. Now, as a note, this is not the same password as the one that you're going to use because I wasn't going to give that away for free here. But you will have to make sure it gets unlocked in Canvas anyway. If you somehow just get the password without completing the homework, you still will get a 0 on the quiz. So make sure you're doing the homework and then getting the password that you can then use in Canvas. Now, again, if at any point you do actually have a question about the homework, feel free to send me an email or post things on the discussion board. So for example, if you're working maybe a new question, you try it once, you can't figure out what you did wrong, you can always drop me a message. I would not go past 2 attempts before you send me a message. Don't use all 3 of your attempts before you post a question. So I hope that'll talk you through just registering for Imath and then a little bit more about Imath itself and how it works, as well as getting those passwords that you're going to need when you go to Canvas.